Okay, great. We're live. I'm so excited. It's
Yes.
Saturday morning. We're not usually live on a Saturday morning, but we have such a great event coming up in a couple of days. We had to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, thank you, Kimberly, for taking some time out of your weekend to join us on LinkedIn Live. Super excited to have you
Absolutely.
this morning.
Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about what we're about to talk about, and I'm excited to do it. Right. So let's just go. And I know I was thinking about this on a Saturday, but I also, when I'm checking my LinkedIn as we do over the weekend, there's a lot of activity out there. So I hope that there are a lot of people who know me, know you, and they want to know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And it is Facebook and YouTube as well. So I feel like weekends,
Oh,
people are on
awesome.
Facebook and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
if you do see this in your feed, I'm going to say the same thing I always do: sharing is caring. So tag somebody in your retail network. I have to say that, and
Yes.
share it. And I'm going to tell you upfront what we're doing because sometimes people get bored and don't watch the whole video. So why are we here? We are having a live event in the Microsoft HQ, 11 Times Square, on October the 9th, which is this week. It's my daughter's birthday, actually, October the 9th, so
Yeah. Okay.
significant day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to be live all day. It's a free event. It's for retail brands to come and listen to amazing speakers like Kimberly, myself, other people on the lineup, along with our technology sponsor partners that are doing educational sessions, which I'm really excited to learn more about that. So let's dive into it.
Yeah.
Tell everybody who you are. I know who you are. You're like, we're friends, but tell
Awesome.
tell tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then we'll jump into what we're going to be doing
Sure.
this week.
Absolutely. So, hi, everyone. I'm Kimberly Lee Miner. And, hopefully my friends are tuning in. But for those of you who don't know me, I am the CEO of the Women of Color Retail Alliance. And maybe on social media, you see it as WACRA or WAC Retail Alliance, but it's the Women of Color Retail Alliance. And we're an organization it's a nonprofit organization, and we are focused on closing the gaps, closing the employment, leadership, and pay gaps. Because here's some like little facts:
Yeah.
women are 60% of this incredible workforce because retail touches everyone. I haven't met anyone who hasn't had some connection to retail. And so women are 60% of that workforce. Women as a whole are 37% of the leadership. Okay, so those numbers don't really jive, right? But
No.
but listen to this. Women of color, Black, Latina, Asian, Native, Indigenous, all together, 6% of the 37.
Wow.
That is a problem. And
Yes.
so that's what we're focused on, because it really is an economic issue. It's an economics issue because if you're not moving forward in your career, then you aren't making the money that you need to provide.
Right.
And women of color are disproportionately also the leaders of their households. And so it's a leveled problem between that and childcare and lack of access and where you would live and what your children have, and then the generational
Cycle
gaps that
continues.
continue.
Yeah.
That's what we focus on. And so I guess you're saying, well, what makes you an expert? So I'm not an expert, but I have been in this industry for a little more than 30 years. And, I started with Macy's executive training program and just moved through and had an incredible career. I would say that my time at Express was formative. I
Mm.
left department store and went to Express and had eight different roles, eight promotions, and learned, I think I had my hand in every part of the business. And so as a result, I used that experience to move through and to create private label organizations for Foot Locker, for David's Bridal, became the president of London Fog and Joe Boxer, Bongo, and have worked for L Brands and Anne. So a lot of the brands that you see when you're in the mall, I've touched in some way. And then my last role was president of Bandier. So anyone from New York, LA, Dallas, Texas, across the country, this like hot, high-end activewear brand, and got to work with incredible people. Jen Bandier is amazing. so incredibly talented and creative. And so having those experiences, but along the way, seeing the gaps, feeling it in some cases, if you look at my resume on paper, it looks very different than what it took to get there.
Yeah.
So that's the secret sauce. And so I came together with some other friends who we started our careers about the same time and had a lot of the same hurdles, and really learned, I hate to say the game, but learned
Yeah. The game.
the game. And so we came together in 2019 to form this organization, and I became the CEO on September 5th, 2023. And so I've been in this role for a year, and we're doing some great things. So when you see Walk or Walk Retail Alliance, sign up immediately. Our program is incredible, and we are partnering with retailers who really want to make a difference. So
yeah, I love it. I love the work I love the work you're doing. I was at a lunch the other day, actually, sitting next to a client of mine, and she was a woman of color, and she was telling me the struggles and everything in her career. And I was like, "Have you heard of WOCRA?" And she was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Okay, hold on, let's pull it up on the phone." And she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that this existed."
No.
So,
but we're in the United States, and we're in Canada now. Like, we're having an event in Montreal on November, I think it's the 14th. Yeah, and I've spoken. I've spoken for RCC in Toronto. We've done some events in Toronto. We're building, our presence across the United States, but we're really small. Like, we're teeny. I'm the CEO, and my team are interns when I can get them, and volunteers. Lots of, I really appreciate my volunteers, because we're a startup, but we're starting up in a big way. So because there's a lot of work to do.
There's a lot of work when you listen to those statistics that you shared at the beginning. It's like mind-boggling, but not at the same time. And kudos to you and your team and everybody seeing this. You need to go on to, we'll post the website and everything underneath this, but go on and support, right? Like, for me, I'm not a woman of color. I mean, but I'm a supporter of what you're doing. I'm an ally,
so
I'm a collaborator. I'm all about people feeling valued. So you need our support too, right?
Absolutely.
To make sure that opening those doors, because that's how it all starts.
Well, so here's the thing. We're focused on women. But, I gave those numbers earlier, 60% of the workforce. But as a whole, just the gender, we're 37% of the leadership. The 37% of leadership, we can't be 60% of the workforce and 37% of the leadership
that makes no sense.
if we're not focused on all of the workforce. And so if you have that large of the workforce at only 6% of the leadership, until there is access and action on that group, then the whole group can't rise. And so we're all focused on women, right? And so women, men, everyone should be focused on each other, right? So if we need allies, we need sponsors, we need everyone to come together to think about, what does that mean for the consumer base? What does that mean for your business if that large of a percentage is just ignored, right?
Yeah.
So as women, we need to care about it too. And there are nuanced reasons why those groups are underrepresented, right? And so we focus on those nuances to make sure that they have the same access as other people, because you can't paint all women with one brush. They don't all have the same issues. They don't have, they don't all bring the same story to the table. So we need to focus on, let's hear other people's stories. Right? Let's make sure that they're a part of this, as we call it, the game, right? Let's make sure that they're part of the game, just like everyone else. And then it becomes, okay, so if everyone has the same access, then everyone gets where they get. But if we still are looking at situations where everyone doesn't have the same access and they don't come from the same story, how do you bring them into the game on an equal playing field? And then let them go. Like, and so that's what we're focused on, but we can't do it by ourselves. I like to say, we are not FUBU. We are focused on us, right? We're focused on that, but we are a very diverse group of people. Even our board, I fought for this April, but we finally have a man on the board, and I hope we get some more. But Jason
And
McNary
he's going to be there at the event on the panel.
excited because he is
awesome.
He is amazing, and he's been on the board, I think, since May, and he's already done some incredible things. And I love his text. Hey, I was talking to such and such, like, who's a big. I was telling him, like, do you think like, how much should we ask him for? Like, whatever you can. Thank you very much. Right? Because right. And so he's amazing. He's amazing.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, he's going to be there because there's a panel in the afternoon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's dive into, you can't tell them everything, right? Because it's like snippets, but what can people look forward to hearing from you at the Retail ConX Summit this week?
Yeah, so my session is about product in the digital age with AI, right? Because I've spent my whole career in product, but it's not what I want people to come away with is product. In order to get product to commercialize, right, from concept to commercialization, there has to be a process. There has to be calendars. Everything has to be calendarized. There's a process to everything. But one of the things that I have done in my career is bring people into the process collaboratively earlier in the process, which has saved us time, frustration, money, right? Made us money because we were on time. Got there together because everyone understood the strategy at the beginning. But it saves you time, but it doesn't necessarily save you time in the commercialization process.
Okay.
AI, there's a lot that is hands-on with people doing that. AI can take some of that off of your plate and make you more of an expert in that field, as opposed to, someone who is just a doer, right? Yeah. Because you have to think. And how do you show up? How do you prepare for this elevated role, right? How do we upskill? What does that mean? And then how do we come together? And I like to talk about, I hear all the time, so what you're saying is AI is going to take my job.
Yeah. I hear that all the time.
And there are jobs that AI is going to take. And I will talk about that on Wednesday. There are jobs that AI will take. However, it's not a zero-sum game. And so it's not like these jobs exist. AI is going to take them away. They no longer exist. And so that group of people are out of jobs. That's not the case. The case is, and we have to be supportive of this, the case is AI is going to make you more efficient. AI is going to give you time back so that you can upskill, so that you become an expert. And so there are jobs sitting over here that you didn't even know existed until AI. And you still don't know, because there's constant movement. But that's the industry we're in, right? And so we're always trying to innovate our product. We're always trying to innovate our processes, our customer experiences, and what all of those. So what people wear product, right?
Yeah, every day.
Customers are people, and they have experiences, right? They can't have experiences just with a robot. This is not iRobot. It's not a science fiction movie. It's reality. It's here. So how does that affect you, right? Yeah. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for your job? What does that mean for your product? How do you improve your product?
Yeah, I love it. It's so funny that question of, like, yesterday, I was like, everywhere I went yesterday, I was like surveying people, right? Because we're doing the research and getting ready for next week. And so everywhere I went, even my neighbor, I was like, we're going to New York next week. We have this event. It's all about AI and human expertise. She goes, oh yeah, that AI thing, it's going to take everybody's job. Now, she's a real estate agent. She's not in retail. But I said to her, hold on a second. Let's have a conversation about that. And so I was just myth busting all day yesterday, but I was literally surveying people, and it was the number one comment or concern on everybody's mind, everybody I've spoken to. Even when I was at And I'm going to talk about this next week when I was out for dinner with my daughter and her friends that are all under 30 in London a couple of weeks ago. Same thing, right? And I think fear, and I watched you last year at the Rise Up Retail Summit talk about fear. And I think that there's this fear that if we can get that out of the way, because that's natural, people are fearful, they get resistant and change. And I'm going to be talking about mindset around that. But if we can get rid of that fear, but how do you get rid of fear? You have to have knowledge, right? This is why this summit is so, I feel like, going to be so right on time, right on point to be able to provide that knowledge. Because, you know, usually summits you go to, it's like it can be a big trade show. You're walking around, you're running from this stage to that stage. You see a little bit of a snippet of an interview. But I feel like these sessions, they're really geared to educate people. I love what you're going to talk about. I think that's really important because, yeah, there is a lot of things that AI can do, I would think, in that process that could really support us be more effective and efficient. And, you know, retailers on the store side, we want to save money. We're always the ones that like shave payroll. But then you get to a point, some of my clients are like, I'm on one person. What do you want me to do? Like, is there other areas of the business that can shave some dollars in effective and efficiency so that it can actually support the stores, do what they need to do? So I think, yeah, efficiency is a key, right, to keeping a business successful.
That's right. It is. And so, you know, first, what I like to do, you said knowledge, right? So I'm going to talk about, well, what is the digital age, right? Because you've heard a lot about that. And I think that's the thing. I think we move so quickly, April, that if we don't know it innately, or if someone doesn't just put it out there to us, we don't take the time to stop and say, what is this thing, right? And on the flip side of that, we also have media machines that thrive on fear, right? It's coming for you, but they don't tell you in what way, right? And so I know, like last year, like you said, like last year being at the shows and all, like AI was just like booming, and we can make your job easier, we can do this, and you know, I used to be on a board for a MarTech company, and when I went on the board, it wasn't crowded yet. Crowded, right? Because, oh, okay, these services can do more for you. We can do this. Did you know this wasn't happening? So it's like, I don't know that. Oh my goodness, there's something I don't know. Oh, I don't even know how it's going to affect me. I don't know what it is. Am I dealing with AI now? Oh, is it? And until someone can break it down and say, okay, here's what the digital age is. Here's what artificial intelligence is. And yes, it's going to come at you like fireworks, right? But when those droppings, right, those lights are falling on the ground, you know, just make sure that you know which ones are the ones that are going to set your clothes on fire, and the other ones that are just going to fizzle out, right? And that's kind of the approach of, here's what it affects in this. Here's what concept commercialization means. Right. Here's how AI affects different stages of it. And then here's the impact to humans, right? Mm-hmm. And impact is a strong word, but it's positive impact. How are you going to get more of your day back? How are you going to get more of your life back? How many of us who've been in this industry, how much of it have we had to give up to be human doing all of it? And what does it look like now that you can have more of that back and still be the human, because now you are a more skilled up, more subject matter expert in your world. And it also is going to mean more collaboration, right? That's what we're losing so much of that collaboration. A couple of weeks ago, I was at NRF's Emerging Leaders Summit, and we did a workshop. So WACRA did a workshop. It was a 90-minute workshop on what is a cross-functional team? What does unified retail look like? Like, what is cross-functional? And afterwards, it was fascinating because people were saying, oh, I just didn't know. I thought merchants, just something had happened and they were late. I didn't understand all of the ways, all of the things that they have to manage. So if something's late, all the pieces, supply chain, HR, stores, like that was a big part of the discussion, having store leaders talk about how one little thing can affect so many different pieces of the product. AI will help with that. Right. So it's going to make us more efficient, but it's going to bring us together too.
Yeah, and it's really good that whole cross-functional leadership workshop happened. I think that's really important, just from always being on the store side. Because when I went from the field into the office, I was like, whoa, I didn't know what all of these people did.
Right.
Like, I used to be like, what are they doing in there? They're not helping
Mhm.
us, right? So getting that collaboration and compassion. And when I was doing my research, I was doing some, pulling some studies using we call them Meloria now because we've humanized
Yes,
it.
I like. I love that.
Yeah, I said to Rena, like, how do we remember to actually go to her and not see it as this big shiny object, right? And she was like, oh, let me find a name. So she was the one. I'll give her credit for that. But we were doing our studies on it, and 82% of people are actually open and optimistic about AI helping them have more work-life balance.
Awesome.
Which is a great statistic. However, it comes after the 79% of people that are fearful about having their job. So it's within that group. So you have to tackle and address that piece first, which is all through education,
That's right.
So yeah.
As with anything, if
Anything,
knowledge is queen,
yeah.
right? And ignorance leads people to do very scary things.
Yeah.
And so, it's all about knowledge.
I feel like that's a quote that's going to show up all over somewhere now. What you just said.
Ignorance. My mouth gets me in trouble. I always say something and then they like, oh, Kimberly Minor.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. It's a good one.
But it's true. It is true. And we, my grandmother used to always say, read books, just read books. And the more books you read, the more people you meet who also read books, and it just builds a brighter future. And, I have, my life is a testament to, I love to read books and I meet really cool people like you, and we go on to connect to do things. And then we meet other cool people. And, so my advice to everyone is don't be afraid.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a job. It's not like a scary movie if we are informed and we can manage it. There are parts that need to,
I like what Jack said yesterday. Jack said, just let's take the sass out of it and make it a boring thing that actually helps us do everything better. And I was like, oh yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise it becomes like, oh, anyway. So I know we're coming up on time. I want to say thank you for joining me on Saturday morning, because I know it's the weekend, but really appreciate it. This is a great conversation, and I can't wait to see you live in person. It's always a joy to be in your energy and hear everything you have to say and be in the audience taking notes and scribbling and learning. So I'm super excited to see you on Wednesday.
Well, I appreciate you for inviting me. I appreciate being able to teach my class, because I teach at OSU at the Fisher School, and I'll be able to teach my class virtually. Thank you for finding the room for that. And I'm looking forward to it as well. And, everything you bring is always positive, and I walk away with a nugget that I can help someone else with. So thank you for being you. And everyone, please, if you're in New York,
show up.
Check us out, Retail Con. And let me just throw a little plug in. If you are in Chicago,
yes, please
you'll be in Chicago on October 16th. Please check out my LinkedIn. Go to Walk Retail Alliance LinkedIn. Join us. We are doing a We Should Know Each Other, which is our signature event. And because that's what the world is about. If we knew each other and we learned more about each other, we'd be more together. But I'm really excited. I'm working on a book, and it came out of this. I guess it was an essay that is now a keynote, and it's called the real lean in, from executive entrepreneur consulting job having mom, wife, me. And so that's going to be, I'm previewing that to the group on the 16th. We're going to be at the Kearney Pearl Labs on Hudson Street in Chicago. But go get some information.
What's the date of that?
It's October 16th, 6 o'clock. Kearney Pearl Labs. That's on West Hudson Street. in Chicago, Illinois, and the real Lean In. I can't wait to share it with everyone, so please come out.
Yeah, support Kimberly and her team. I'm so excited to get that book. When's it coming? Do you have a date on it?
I don't know yet. We've got a lot of work to do.
I feel like
I have
set a reminder of that one.
Yeah, I have parts of it, but I'm excited.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing. It's so exciting launching books into the stratosphere.
It's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary, but it's so good when you're going to see, you're going to get these text messages, emails, and they're going to be like, oh my God, thank you so much. And you're going to be like, oh, it touched somebody. You don't even know when you have a book, how many people read it, right? Like, that's so exciting.
No.
Yeah.
And I've had so many starts to that. And I was like, all right, I think I got it.
You just got to get it done. Yeah, get it done. All right, amazing. Okay, great. Well, so thank you so much. We will see you at Retail ConX on Wednesday, October the 9th. And until then, share, tag, post, invite somebody, tell somebody you know.
See you there. See you there. Okay.